Do you know there's a lot of beauty and hygiene products that we use on a daily basis that are full of toxins and harmful chemicals, especially deodorants that people use on a daily basis, especially when it comes to some of the fragrances, as well as other things that are not ideal for our body and it's not good for us. Hello, welcome to Nature to Tea, or welcome back. A channel where we talk about healthier options when it comes to your health, beauty, and even the personal products that you use, and even your cleaning products. We talk about holistic health as well as giving you tips on beauty and health the natural way. So if you are on your journey of becoming a better version of yourself, this is a channel for you. Before I get into this video, I just want to put a disclaimer out there. For one, I am not an expert, I am not a scientist, I am not a chemist, so all that I'm going to talk about is only informational and suggestion of recipes for making deodorants. If you have any allergy issues or you have sensitive skin, you might want to consult with a professional before trying any of these ingredients and products that I'm going to show you in this video. Secondly, homemade deodorant is not for everyone. Aside from having allergy issues, not to say that you cannot be allergic to store-bought deodorant, because I had allergic reactions to store-bought deodorant, but they have some kind of certification or approval on them. And plus the preservatives, and they are, you know, experts and scientists that played a role in making those. So if you feel safer buying those and using those, hey, stick with them. But if you're like me and want to switch to more natural stuff, and also if you like making things like myself, these are the folks that I'm making this video for. So about a month ago, I made a deodorant video that went viral and became a topic of discussion. Discussions which included politics, discussions that taught me things that I didn't know before, and lessons to be learned that on TikTok you have to be explicit. You know, common sense is not common to all, and people will take one thing out of what you say, even though the main idea has nothing to do with that, and run to the moon with it.
75 feet. Guys looking.
And I get it, there's a lot of kids on TikTok, younger people, and people who are not just exposed to that much. And also, I mean, everyone is entitled to their own opinion. I am, you know, I just do what I do to inspire people to make better choices when it comes to their health. And obviously we are free to choose however we want to live our lives, but I feel like there's a lot of things that people are not aware of, and also a lot of people are not self-sufficient, and I think that's a good skill to have, to be able to make your own things, to be able to create safer and, you know, even sometimes better products and the things that we need on a regular basis. If you're in America, it's almost impossible living a regular life without being exposed to chemicals. And the healthier you want to eat, the healthier products you want to use, the more expenses you're going to have. That's why I'm trying to teach people to lessen the use of the harmful chemicals that we are exposed to every day. I'm just here to help people lessen their uses of toxic chemicals. And yes, everything is made up of chemicals. I think everybody on earth knows that, so we can put that to rest. There's a difference between harmful, toxic chemicals and chemicals that are beneficial to us, and chemicals that are safe for human use and or consumption. I'm just trying to, you know, help people learn to use less harsh and less toxic products, as well as food that we consume. Aside from that, some of the things I appreciate from that post is that I've learned a lot of things. I've gained a lot of insight as to what other products you can use to make deodorant, as well as, you know, suggestions that people were making in my comments. And I appreciate that. I'm not an expert in any of the things that I do, but I'm just trying to use as natural of products as possible to make what I make. It can be very expensive if you want to go totally natural, which would be ideal, but I'm not there yet, and I know a lot of people are not there yet. But I hope to continue to use less harmful chemicals when I use my, when I make my beauty products. So whatever I can learn from you guys, as well as what I can learn from doing my research and sharing that with you in hopes of helping people that are trying to go more natural, I think it's a great thing. And I really appreciate all those helpful comments that were left under my post. In this video, I'm gonna give you updates about the deodorant, what worked, what didn't work, as well as how I use these amazing herbs and butter to make these wonderful deodorants. In case you missed it, this is my original deodorant video that I made on my TikTok account, and this I've used about a week, and after a week or so it started irritating my pits and it started burning and stinging a little bit, so I stopped using it and just continued to use the one that I made with arrowroot, and I used that without any issues until it was finished. Some suggestions was to replace the baking soda with arrowroot powder or cornstarch. So I don't use cornstarch, but I made a second video using arrowroot powder, and that one worked better for me. People use deodorant for two main reasons. One, to cover up the smell of body odor, usually with fragrances. Two is to stop or dry up perspiration or sweat using antiperspirant, which temporarily blocks the pores from sweating. How often one uses deodorant depends on how mild or strong their body odor is. Some can go without deodorant, and others need at least 2 applications a day. With that said, use your best judgment when it comes to choosing what type of deodorant you want to use. There are people who suffer from body odor, so maybe these homemade deodorant might not suffice to mask body odor. Also, there are people with conditions where they sweat a lot. For me, I do sweat. I've tried prescription deodorant, I've tried this deodorant. They sell it at regular stores, but it's supposed to be at the same level as prescription deodorant. That didn't work for me, and it also irritated my pits and stained my clothes, so I stopped using that. Either way, whatever deodorant I use, they don't really help with the sweat. For me, the reason why I use deodorant is to minimize bacterial growth and also to deodorize my pits. So there's only one deodorant that, well, it's not really a deodorant. I don't know, but it's a patch. I believe it's called Sweat Block, I think. That kind of worked for me, but beside that, the only other store-bought that I like to use is Native. And even with Native, there are some that irritate my skin, but 2 of my favorite that I like to use is the eucalyptus and I think the other one is lavender rose or something like that. I'm good with those 2. I tried the vanilla one that burned my pit, so I don't think it's so much to do with whether it's store-bought or homemade.
This video is sponsored by Self-Expression. The links will be in the bio.
So with these 2 recipes, instead of using coconut oil, I use mango butter. I just wanted to try something new. For one, there are a lot of people that stated they were allergic to coconut oil and wanted to know what other options they can use to substitute for that. So I decided to try using mango butter. There are people that were suggesting that you can use shea butter. With shea butter though, unless if it's the unscented one, which is probably more processed, unless if you're gonna add some natural fragrances to it, but I personally don't like the smell of shea butter. But if you're okay with that, do whatever works for you and whatever that you prefer. The other new thing that I used is beeswax, because there were a lot of people suggesting that beeswax is more stable than coconut oil. It solidifies, so you don't have to worry about keeping it in your fridge like I've shown you where I kept my first one. And people are so funny. Some were talking about, oh, they'll forget, like having to go to their refrigerator to get their deodorant. If you use beeswax, it's pretty stable, it's solidified, and plus right now it's winter time anyway, so even if you were to use the Coconut oil is probably solid in room temperature unless if your house is warm like mine. Another thing about beeswax is that not only does it take a long time to melt, it also solidifies really quick, as you will see in my recipe. You know, you have to move quick. I was trying to film and show you different things, so it was a little bit challenging, but if you're using beeswax, make sure you have everything ready and try to put it in a glass, BPA free preferably. If you have one, a little pitcher or something, or a funnel that's safe to transfer it, so you don't have to waste some of it like I did in making this recipe. Beeswax is also antimicrobial, so it will kill bacterial growth, you know, especially around the underarms. Sage is also antimicrobial. It's anti-inflammatory, and it has antioxidants, and it smells so good. It just has this nice clean smell to it, so that's why I wanted to try that. Chamomile also smells good. It is anti-inflammatory, and it soothes and calms the skin. Rosemary is antibacterial, has antioxidant properties, and it smells good. Now let's talk about how I use these amazing herbs and butter to make these wonderful deodorants. The first thing you want to do is prepare the herbs. Here I'm using 1 teaspoon of chamomile and 1 teaspoon of rosemary. And I'm going to go ahead and blend it. So I'm trying to get them to turn into powder. Once it is done blending, you want to use a sieve and just rock back and forth and try to get the fine powder as much as you can. And the sieved powder should still amount to about a teaspoon. And next I'm going to go ahead and blend the sage. And I'm also trying to get about a teaspoon or maybe a teaspoon and a half of the sage. So I'm just guesstimating here. I'm putting some in the little, this is a coffee grinder by the way, but whatever you can use to turn this into powder form, use that. Then I'll use the same process using the sieve to extract the powder. This is the sage, and this one is the chamomile with the rosemary. Here I'm going to use the double boiler method to melt the mango butter with the beeswax. This is about 4 tablespoons of mango butter, and I'm adding 3 tablespoons of beeswax. By the way, the measuring tool here is a 2 tablespoon measuring tool, so that's 3 tablespoons of the beeswax, and that took forever and I had to switch the bowls, but anyway, it melted. And now it is time to mix my ingredients. Here I'm just recycling my other deodorant containers. I've washed them and I'm just reusing them, but feel free to buy, you know, new ones on Amazon or wherever. And here I'm gonna go ahead and pour this liquid of mango butter with the beeswax, and I'm gonna just pour about half. And yeah, it's hot, but you have to maintain this in a high temperature, if not it's gonna solidify. But here I'm gonna go ahead and start mixing this one up with the rosemary with chamomile. That's one of the deodorants right here. And then I'll just scoop the rest of it in this thing. But it, yeah, amounted to 1 teaspoon of those 2 herbs. And to keep the beeswax from turning solid, you have to keep it warm. So I put it back in that pot. And here I'm just mixing this up. And as you can see, it's starting to thicken. And my goal was to have it liquid so I can pour it in the deodorant container. But I had to end up warming this up, melting it back up so I can easily transfer it to the container. So here it is all melted, and I'll try to put it back in as soon as possible. And it wasn't really pourable if that's a word, but I scooped it and put it in this deodorant container. Once everything is in, just make sure everything is compacted in there, pat it down, smooth it out, whatever you have to do. And this is the end result of this. It didn't go as smooth as I wanted to, but I've learned a lot of lessons, so the second one will be better, hopefully. But it still worked, and it works well, and it still smells good. And this is the liquid for the second one, and I'm using sage here. And as you can see, I'm trying to move as fast as I can so that the wax will not solidify or thicken up as it did on the first one. And next, I'm going to add a little bit of lavender oil. Now, if you have sensitive skin, I will not advise you to add any essential oils. But just to make it smell even better, I'm going to add about 3 drops of lavender oil. And I'll go ahead and mix that in. I was trying to pour this in without using the proper tool and see what happened. But anyway, I ended up using this plastic. Didn't want to put the hot wax in a soft plastic, but I had to because I didn't want to waste any more. And this is how it turned out. It went in as liquid, so it's nice and smooth. And this is the end result of that. So I'm satisfied. And this thing smells really, really good. I must say though, if I were to pick a favorite, it will be the one with sage, not because it's smoother, but just because it smells better. I like the smell of it better. And I've been using this for about a week now, and so far so good. It's been working out for me. The only 2 things that I'll do a little different next time is to get a pouring glass that's BPA free. And also I'll probably add just a little bit more of the mango butter to keep it a little bit softer so that it will make the application process just a little bit easier. Anyway, this wraps it up for this video. I hope you enjoyed it. I hope you found it informative. If you did, please don't forget to leave a like. Also, if you are into health and beauty the natural way and you are on a journey of becoming a better version of yourself, make sure you do subscribe and hit the post notification button so you don't miss any of my future videos. I hope you have a blessed day, night, evening, wherever you are, and I hope to catch you on my next video.